This is Crème de la Mer,
the so-called miracle cream. Price tag? $380 for just 60 milliliters. And if you want the collector's size, it'll set you back nearly $3,000. The promise? Ageless skin, miraculous healing, eternal youth in a jar. But here's the real question. Is this really the most advanced cream on Earth? Or the most profitable fairy tale in beauty? Science over slogans. Hit subscribe because the beauty industry doesn't want you here, and that's exactly why you should be. Let's follow the money. La Mer is one of Estée Lauder's crown jewels. Exact figures aren't disclosed, but industry analysts estimate La Mer brings in around $1.2 billion a year in revenue. And remember, Estée Lauder runs at gross margins of about 74%. That means every jar of La Mer isn't just hydrating skin, it's hydrating shareholder profits. Growth? For over a decade, La Mer has expanded aggressively across Asia, travel retail, and luxury counters worldwide. Even when Estée Lauder's skincare sales wobble, La Mer's name always comes up as a brand that moves the needle. The real miracle isn't in your skin. It's in their balance sheet. Of course, La Mer's magic doesn't come from spreadsheets. It comes from a story. In the 1950s, Max Huber, a NASA scientist, suffers burns in a lab accident. Legend says he spends 12 years and 6,000 experiments fermenting sea kelp until he creates the now famous miracle broth. That broth, the story goes, healed his skin and became the foundation of Crème de la Mer. Sounds heroic, almost cinematic, like Iron Man, but with moisturizer. But flip the jar around and the truth is less glamorous. Mineral oil, petrolatum, glycerin, a little algae extract, and fragrance. The same building blocks you'll find in creams that cost $20 at the drugstore. The difference? Huber had a legend. Estée Lauder turned that legend into billions. And Crème de la Mer is just the tip of the iceberg. Today, La Mer's portfolio spans dozens of products, all spun from the same miracle broth mythology. The flagship cream anchors the line, joined by the Concentrate, a serum marketed for barrier repair, the eye concentrate, the treatment lotion, and oils and masks priced at hundreds of dollars each. These are La Mer's heavy hitters, the products that keep revenue flowing into Estée Lauder's luxury engine. But here's the truth. Whether it's a cream, a serum, or an eye concentrate, they all orbit the same central myth. Pay a premium, get the broth. Pay even more, get a slightly different texture, and the same story. Now let's look at what's actually inside that $380 jar. The ingredient list for Crème de la Mer starts with mineral oil, petrolatum, glycerin, the same backbone as Vaseline. Add in a few humectants, thickening agents, and yes, some fermented sea kelp and antioxidants they call the Miracle Broth trademark. But here's the problem. There are no independent, peer-reviewed clinical trials proving this broth reduces wrinkles, boosts collagen, or reverses aging. None. Zero. The science is basic hydration, dressed up with a luxury price tag. You're not buying a medical breakthrough. You're buying moisturizer with a myth at nearly $400 a jar. If La Mer has one product that comes close to science, it's the concentrate. Unlike the cream, this serum actually made it into a peer-reviewed dermatology journal in 2025. The study, authored with La Mer's support, tested what they called MPF serum, a formulation containing their kelp ferment. Results? Over 8 weeks, patients showed stronger skin barrier function and faster recovery after harsh treatments like chemical peels and non-ablative lasers, compared to a standard moisturizer. That's more than a marketing slogan. It's real data. But here's the catch. The study was small, brand-funded and didn't measure anti-aging outcomes like wrinkle depth or collagen rebuilding. At $400 a bottle, you're not buying a fountain of youth. You're buying a very expensive recovery serum with limited evidence. And here's where the story flips. Because you don't need to spend hundreds to get those same barrier repair benefits. CeraVe Healing Ointment and Aquaphor have both been tested in dermatology studies for post-procedure recovery, showing faster healing and improved barrier integrity. Even better, La Roche-Posay Cicaplast Balm B5 has clinical trials demonstrating recovery benefits after peels and laser treatments, the very claims La Mer leans on. The price? $15 to $20. So yes, La Mer's concentrate has a published study, but the same or stronger evidence already exists for affordable, accessible products. The only real difference is the logo on the bottle and the number of zeros on the price tag. So after all the legends, the marketing, and the price tags, is La Mer really worth it? For most people, the answer is no. The flagship Crème de la Mer is essentially a rich petrolatum-based moisturizer, something you can find in drugstore creams for $20. Yes, some users rave about the texture, the luxury feel, and say their skin feels softer and more hydrated. A few even swear the ritual makes them glow. But just as many reviews complain about breakouts, greasiness, or seeing no real difference after months of use, except for a much lighter wallet.
$200 just to get broken out. And that does not happen with other rich creams for me, because you know what? I can use this one from the Inkey list. It's $20.
The concentrate does stand out a little more, with published evidence for barrier repair. But even there, equally effective options exist. From CeraVe Healing Ointment to Aquaphor or La Roche-Posay Cicaplast, all under $30. At the end of the day, the only reason La Mer is worth it is for the status symbol, the logo, the exclusivity, the little jar on your bathroom shelf. If you want proven science, you don't need La Mer. If you want a luxury logo to impress, that's what you're really buying. So if La Mer isn't worth it for the science, what do you really get? A logo, a legend, and a dent in your wallet. That's the truth. And that's why understanding the evidence matters, because the industry is built on billion-dollar stories that look like skincare, but act like marketing machines. Here at Skincare Evidence, we cut through the myths so you don't pay luxury prices for drugstore science. Subscribe now and join us as we expose the next big beauty scam.